Good morning, Bama Hiker here. It's Saturday, March the 8th, and I'm actually in Mobile, Alabama. I'm leaving my home with sweets right now. I'm getting ready to walk over to the USS Alabama Battleship. My wife is down here, Tracy, is down here today for a conference with her church, and so I thought I'd take the opportunity to go for a nice long walk, and which is what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, I'm here by the freeway, and I'm sure it's going to get quite loud as I walk along. But anyway, we should have a pretty interesting day today. I know it's been a while. Last video was posted, I guess, back in 2013, so this is a new update. And I'll take you along on my adventure today. All right, more later. Well, I'm about 10 minutes, it's 8:45, 10 minutes into my walk, and I've already reached Interstate I-65, which we're basically near. Way down the road there, about a mile, is where our hotel was at, the Homewood Suites. And so now I'm walking along the busy streets of Airport Boulevard, walking towards downtown Mobile, which I hope to reach in about at least 2 hours. It's about probably 5 to 6 miles from here. So we'll see what happens. From there I hope to pick up a taxi over to the USS Alabama Battleship. The only drawback walking down Airport Road, which is the main drag through Mobile, from where I stay in, is just the constant traffic and the traffic noise. That's the big disadvantage. And really, I'm glad I have music to listen to because it keeps all the traffic noise from driving me absolutely crazy. So, all right, it's like every probably 15-30 seconds I get a wave of cars coming by. So here comes the next wave. Well, it's about 9:30. I've made some pretty good progress. I've reached a point, one of my checkpoints on my walk, where Airport Boulevard merges in with another street. And so now I'm on what is one of the parkways that lead into downtown, the old historic part of Mobile. This is still Airport Boulevard, but it's the older section. And so it's gone from being a 4-laner to 2 lanes, and hopefully the traffic will be just a little bit less as I creep my way down. But really good time since I left at 8:25. Now it's 9:30, and I've traveled probably somewhere around 3.5 miles. So hang in there, we're getting there. As a little side note, being back from Europe, one of the things that we noticed over there was Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi, as we call it, Wi-Fi. As you can see right here, this is a Crystal's hamburger drive-thru, and they have free Wi-Fi. Just thought it was interesting. Here in the south, you see a lot of Spanish moss hanging from the trees down here along the Gulf Coast. But there's something new, a new phenomenon I've not seen before, and that is ferns. You can see the ferns growing right here along the tree. And if you look up into the tree, ferns are growing everywhere on the fern branch, on the oak branches. And there's even more over here in this tree here, as well as back over here. So I thought that's kind of a unique phenomenon to see this, that the ferns have actually just taken over and they're growing all over the tree. So the wonders of what you see when you get out and you start walking. Alrighty. Well, I'm walking along through Mobile. I've gotten down onto Government Street, which is kind of interesting. This past week was Mardi Gras, and as you can see around my neck, I have found all sorts of colored beads, they're all over the streets down here. This past Tuesday was Fat Tuesday, which is the day before Ash Wednesday and the start of the Lenten season. So in a lot of places here in the south, especially in the Gulf, Louisiana, here in Mobile, and some other places, Mardi Gras is actually a pretty big event. And so I've seen a lot of trash, but I was just surprised at the number of beads just laying out here on the street. So there's a tree here outside of the Holiday Inn, and as you can see up in the branches, there's all sorts of festive Mardi Gras beads that have been tossed out. And so, like I said, as I've been walking along, I've just been finding the beads everywhere. Well, it's 10:30, and I made it to the actual downtown area of Mobile, and I just thought I'd just basically put the camera out here and just do a little pan around between the what's known as the location of the two tunnels that go underneath the Mobile River, and Interstate 10 is right over here, which you can probably just make out in the distance. Then back over on my other side over here is Government Street, and right over here by the Renaissance Hotel and some of these other buildings is the entrance to the Governor Street Tunnel, which is also Highway 90, which runs under the Mobile River, that goes back up and goes across the causeway. From about this point here, what I'm going to do is basically head over to the Hampton Inn and Suites and see if there's a taxi there, because there's no way to physically walk across. But good time, made it in just about, well, I did make it downtown in about 2 hours from the time I left this morning. So pretty good, feeling strong, feeling great, and we got some more adventure coming up as we go over to the USS Alabama, a World War II battleship, and also the SS Drum submarine. I did a quick stop for a cafe con leche break, traditional when you're hiking, and I'm just getting ready to wait to get a cab here, but I'm at the Renaissance Hotel enjoying some coffee. Got it complimentary, by the way, and enjoyed myself a peanut power bar, and I'm on the way again. All right, well, it's about 11:10. It took a little while to get a taxi cab from the Renaissance, but I'm actually here. You can see out in the distance the USS Alabama. It's a little bit different since the last time I was here, which you'll get a chance to see in a minute. And that is, they have moved over here. There's a submarine, which used to be in water, which they have now put up on land. But there's the USS Drum out there. They also have an aircraft museum. So I'm pretty excited about spending a little bit of time here, and I'll take you guys along with me as we do that. So let's go on over that way. Well, we're aboard the USS Alabama. This is part of what is known as the Alabama Memorial Park. It's dedicated for all the Alabama veterans that have served throughout all the different armed forces. The park was opened in January of 1965. And what's kind of cool about the battleship is not just the ship, but it also has a series of, basically you can see down here, different types of Marine Corps, amphibious vehicles, armored personnel carriers, tanks. There's even the aircraft. We've got a museum over here for the aircraft as well, Medal of Honor Pavilion. You can see some of the other aircraft out here, as well as some Coast Guard stuff. So it's actually pretty cool. And so we're going to go ahead and take a little tour around here and just take a look at a few things here. What's interesting, they got anti-aircraft guns up here on the battleship. During World War II, believe it or not, the battleship was credited with shooting down 22 enemy aircraft. So that's kind of a neat little historical fact. What makes a battleship unique is the fact that it's got, on the Alabama itself, it's got 9 16-inch, it's a 16-inch diameter, 9 of these 16-inch cannons. There's 2 turrets of 3 tubes each up front, and then there's another turret on the back with another 3 turrets, another 3 tubes. These guns could launch basically what would be equivalent to the weight of a Volkswagen Bug, a distance of 21 miles. And it was fairly good, and had fairly good accuracy at 21 miles as well. So this was what they called the big guns. But it's the guns that really bring in the power to bear. Now what's kind of interesting is this ship is 680 feet long by 108 feet wide at its widest point. And it displaces, with full crew and armament, it displaces 45 45,000 tons. And for all you math majors, figure that real quick. How many millions of pounds is that? 45,000 tons. That's right, 90 million pounds. So, big ship. So, let's go and take a look inside here.
Yeah, I recommend that too. It's not enough.
The USS Alabama had a crew of 127 officers and 2,205 enlisted men. Typically when under sail though, they had 2,500 personnel on board. That's usually made up of extra people such as Marine Corps detachments as well as liaison officers. And anywhere they could bunk, they would bunk. Because when you got 2,000 people, they all have a need to sleep. What was a little interesting is there's more luxurious quarters for the ship's executive officer staff, including the captain and the executive officer and a bunch of others, and they slept a lot better off. So sometimes it is good to be an officer. So let's just go ahead and continue to walk around. As you walk from level to level through the ship, you pass through a lot of watertight doors. And this is because when they're out at sea and they're under attack, if something happened, you want to be able to close up the ship in case you had a rupture somewhere to prevent the water from spilling through. So there's all sorts of hatches in the floor, as well as these waterproof doors as we go through. So the watertight doors would be closed when they sound a general alarm, which then would seal off different sections of the ship and allow them to basically remain afloat if they were hit by some type of enemy projectile. And there are a lot of passageways and waterproof doors. Hey, as we go through the ship here, and we're only on the second level down, and this is where a lot of the crew would spend their time. They have machine shops, as well as bunking quarters. There's places to do laundry, bakery. There's a barber shop, place to get your clothes repaired, a lot of machinery. And so the ship used every spare bit of space. And as I said, here's what the typical area looked like for feeding. This operation went on almost 24 hours a day because you had crews and shifts, and you had a lot of hungry people to feed. So this is Seaman Johnson right here. As you can see, he's doing a great job. And you can see he's got a lot of good chow set out. Sausage patties, sausage links, he's got corn flakes, apples, fresh fruit. So pretty interesting. Guys come down here to eat in shifts also, because when you got 2,500 to feed, a lot of hungry mouths, and it takes a little bit of time. Come on down here with me. I thought this would be kind of interesting for all you Camino de Santiago fans. Here is the albergue of the battleship. You can see how the crew members would be just packed in here to sleep during their shifts. So you got prep time whenever you could. On board the USS Alabama, if you were too good, you didn't behave very well, or you got in trouble or whatever, got caught stealing, who knows, whatever infraction, you could end up in the ship's brig. This is ship's brigs down here. These weren't very, very nice facilities. As you can take a look in there, if you notice, it's lacking any type of water or toiletries or wash facilities or anything like that. So basically, you would spend your time down here until they had what was known as a captain's mast, which you'd be called up on charges. You'd face the captain, and you'd plead either guilty, not guilty, or whatever, and then they'd release you. But very Spartan facilities, someplace you would not want to be, and it was a pretty good deterrent to keep you from misbehaving. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, they also had a laundry facility. We're at the back end of the ship, and as you can see, here's one of the laundry facilities where they would basically run 24/7 to help wash and clean and press and keep all the crew's uniforms neat and pressed for their duty day. This was a very hot location, especially in the summertime when they're out sailing in the Pacific where you had high humidity. Just no relief. On board the ship, they even had a small chapel off to one side. This is where the men could come in on their off time to worship the Lord. Well, after a bit of a climb, I finally got up to the bridge. And here's what the bridge looks like. There's actually two bridges on the ship. This is a smaller one. This is up a bit higher, which allows them to take a peek out and see from a higher vantage point where they're headed. But down below they have what's known as a battle bridge. Let's just take a peek out the window. It's kind of what you can see out there. Pretty sparse, but down below there's a hardened, what they call the battle bridge, which has the same instrumentation and communications, but it's enclosed in about a 12-inch thick steel cocoon. So that way when they go into battle, they can go in there, control the ship from a protected structure, and prevent the loss of control of the ship. Like this is just plate steel. And so if it was hit up here, of course this would probably kill everybody and wipe out the controls, but the battle bridge was much more secure. Let's head on back downstairs. I'd mentioned upstairs the battle bridge. As you can see here, you can see how thick this door is for the battle bridge. And let's go ahead and take you right on in here. You can see here, there's a duplicate set of controls down here for basically for communications. And this is also used just above was fire control, and down here was kind of a battle bridge, which allowed the ship to have an alternate point of command and control in the event the bridge was taken out by some type of attack, enemy attack upstairs. Let's go. Here's something out here that I thought was pretty interesting. Show you right up here. It's a UH-1 Huey. It's a 1966 model, Vietnam era. This is what I flew most of my Army career as an aviation officer. And this baby, it rocks. Hoo-ah! All right, let's take a look at the USS Drum. This is a Navy submarine that was commissioned on the 1st of November 1941, and she earned 12 battle stars. So let's go aboard. I hope you can hear me. The wind's starting to pick up. The USS Drum is 311 feet long, and at its widest spot, it's 27 feet 4 inches wide. It displaces 1,526 tons. So if you saw the math over on the battleship, remember we said that was 45,000 tons of displacement when fully loaded with crew and armament. This submarine is a little bit smaller, a little bit less tonnage. So we're going to go ahead and go downstairs and walk through the sub, so let's go. We're going to enter down through one of the forward torpedo hatches, and we're going to go down through the steps. Here we go. We're down inside the Drum. This submarine, and it's a ship, has two torpedo rooms actually. You have the forward torpedo room and then one in the aft. Up in the front here, they have four, I believe it is, yes, they have 4 torpedo tubes. In the aft they have 2. And so, a little bit cramped on space. Let's go ahead and walk down through here. Just like on the USS Alabama, the submarine is also equipped with a series of watertight doors. Again, this is they would be closed and locked when underway, and general quarters were sounded because of the fact that there was a possibility if you have a breach somewhere in the hull, you don't want the submarine to sink too quickly, so they shut those things up. The USS Drum has a crew of 72, 7 officers and 65 enlisted men. And right here is what is a typical officer's set of quarters. Basically, 2 officers would share this small little room on the submarine. They had a little work desk here to work at. They had a private sink, and here's a mirror for shaving. And you can see here's one of the messes right here inside the submarine. This is where they have their meals on board the ship. They also have a set of charts. And you can see it's a very small submarine, very cramped. Here's the captain's quarters. And you can see a little more spacious on a submarine. Captain would have the privilege of bunking alone. Have his own little safe there. Then here's, oh look, it's me, hi. This is where the captain would have a little vanity, a place to store his stuff, as well as a sink for shaving and brushing his teeth. So, now here's the petty officers. This is a 5-man bunk room right down here. And as you can see, 5 of the petty officers, which were the senior enlisted men, would live back in here. And again, it's very crowded. Not much space. Now we'll go through another watertight door. And this is stepping into the control room.
How do I get up here?
From here, they would basically control the submarine, allow it to climb and dive. They'd also control the firing of the torpedoes, be able to vent the ballast tanks. Here's where they keep track.
Do you need it?
Of the depth, how far down they were. These controls over here basically control the ballast and the air pressure. We got communications up over through here.
Huh?
And here's the chart table for doing their navigation. And as you can see, very tight. Well, I think the submarine is far more interesting because of the technology that's used to stay underwater as opposed to the big battleship.
Yeah.
We're going to go up in the conning tower in just a second, so let's go. All right, I'm up here in the conning tower. It's a very small, cramped space. And as you can see, there's all sorts of instrumentation up here. This is where they would come up. This is also where the periscope's located at. We'll come on around this way. And as you can see, here's the periscope. They basically raise it up, because it's descended down through the ship. But they raise it up from here. They could be able to rotate, see what's out on the horizon while they're submerged. But there's a bunch of other series of controls up here. Because I'm not a submariner, I really don't know what they are. But it looks like this may be radar, so that they could track, look for ships with the radar, as well as some other controls, which looks like it'd be able to tell how fast the ship's going and plot solutions for maybe the torpedoes. Let's go back downstairs, which is back down through that hole there. All right, back through here. You can tell what this is. That's the galley. That's Seaman Johnson. He moved off of the Alabama, came over here. This is a place where the men could hang out and relax when they're off shift. And this is where they consume a lot of their meals. So, now down below is some of the ship's storage. This is where they keep some of the food. They had the refrigerator, freezer down the stairs, as well as the batteries for the ship are located down underneath there. Here's another hatchway for going up and out. And when the men need to bunk down at night, here's where the remaining enlisted men would stay. Again, this looks like some type of an albergue, which would be perfect for anyone who wants to do a Camino here. And it just shows you a bit of the crew's quarters, where they would basically, since there's 65 of them, of course they'd have to rotate out through the bunks because there's only so many here. Here's a toilet, or what they call the head on the ship, and shower facilities right in there. And over here's the shower and some laundry where they could do the wash clothes, get clothes cleaned up. Guys could come in and shave and get cleaned up. All right, let's look out, sneaking out the back way now.
Yeah.
It's a tight squeeze coming through here. Now we're back in the engine room. This is an old diesel submarine that was basically, the diesels would be run during the day up on the surface. They would charge the series of batteries which are down below. Then when it's time submerged, they'd shut the diesels off, and then they would basically run on battery power for a little bit of time. So, another hatchway. All right. And here's some more of the diesel engines back here. And remember, I said to you, this has an aft torpedo room, which we're going to take a look at in just a second here. Well, these good-looking guys go by here. All aboard. That's a train thing. Okay, let's go this way. Here we go. Another waterproof or watertight door series. And we're snaking our way back. Yep, okay. Wow, a lot of levers right there. One more door, there we go. And we're in the aft torpedo room. I was wrong. There's actually 4 tubes back here. There we go. And as you can see right here, here's one of the fish, the torpedoes. Those things would be shot out. This is, if someone's sneaking up on them, it's a rude awakening. But anyway, they have a series of 4 tubes back here as well for launching. You can see they also have the beds built in here, so crew members can sleep back here as well. Here's another one of the tubes. And as we exit the submarine, which would be right here, this is the what's known as the aft torpedo hatch, where they basically load the torpedoes down in here because of the size. They have to be angled in. So let's go ahead and climb our way out. And that will conclude our tour of the USS Drum submarine. So back out to the daylight. Nice and tight squeeze. Hope you like that. Let's catch you a little bit later. Well, I've had a great visit to the USS Alabama Memorial Battleship Park here, and it's time to get back on the road. My battery in the camera is dying. It's about 150, and I have, as you see out there on the horizon, I have the causeway to walk across Mobile Bay and meet Tracy later in Spanish Fort, which is about, probably 6 miles from here. So that's going to be a good 2-hour hump. I've changed my socks, had a protein shake, and now it's time to get back on the road again. Due to the road noise, I probably won't record much as I go across the causeway, except for when I get to something that's interesting. All right, later on. Well, it's coming up on 2:55. I've been walking just almost an hour, and I've come over 4 miles and over halfway across the bay. See Mobile back in the distance, and up here in the front we've got Spanish Fort out there on the high ground. So we're halfway across the bay. In fact, this part right here is the Appalachian River, which feeds into Mobile Bay. But if you follow this back up, Appalachian Bay, I mean the Appalachian River. Okay, more later. Well, it's 3 minutes past 4 o'clock. I've come a little over 7.8 miles and I've reached my destination, the Bass Pro Shop in Spanish Fort. Now I'm going to go have something to eat in the restaurant while I wait for the arrival of my beloved wife Tracy, who will then transport us home. So it's been a pretty good walk. So depending on how my battery holds out, I might have you see what I'm eating. All right, a couple more minutes. We'll see you there. Well, I'm inside. I'm getting ready to eat something here, and so after a little over 15 miles, I think it's bon appetit time. Got myself some venison stuffed mushrooms. I got some alligator bits that have been fried. And I got my nice salad and a blue moon with that fabulous orange slice. Wash it all down. All right, well, I'm glad you came along with me today. Hope you enjoyed my day as much as I did, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.